underdog. Unleash the power.
Jayson Waller here, true underdog, and I have got the best guest I've ever had on the show. That's right. Sorry to everybody else. Sorry to Barry. Sorry to Prater. Sorry to Darren McCarty. Sorry to David Meltzer and all of you famous folks out there. I have got my beloved, sweet 22-year-old daughter, Hannah Waller. How you doing, babe?
Good. How are you?
Good. Now, look, we've talked about putting you on the podcast. A lot of the listeners and the viewers out there have heard me tell stories about you. Some funny, some motivating, some sad. More funny, though, like poop stories and everything else, right? But I wanted to have an opportunity to change it up a little bit on this episode and be able to do something called Family Talk, where I can interview you, ask some questions, get some answers, and also you can interview me or ask some questions because you've listened to a handful of the podcast and you've made some certain comments and you said, look, you got to get me on that podcast to say some of the stories. So I'm going to give you your shot today. Sound good?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, good.
That works.
So for those that haven't done this yet, make sure you subscribe. Click on the subscribe button, whether it be YouTube, iHeart, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, or CastBox. Now, we're going to jump right into it. Hannah, you're 22 years old, right? Graduated high school. You're the first in my family to graduate traditional high school. What was that like?
It was really hard, and I didn't want to graduate high school, but you guys pushed me pretty hard to do it, and I'm happy that I did because, like, it's a huge accomplishment, and to walk across the stage is a big deal, you know?
It wasn't easy for you, though, was it?
No, it was really hard.
What was hard about it?
Well, I suffered a lot of anxiety in high school and, you know, I was a teenager and didn't want to do my homework, and I had, you know, a good support system. You know, you and Mom definitely pushed me to do better and walk across the stage. And after I did that, it was like pretty emotional, you know, like I did this, I finished it, which is a lot.
Do you think we put a lot of pressure on you to finish since we didn't?
No, I mean, you guys were pretty easy about it, but you guys still told me that it's a big deal. You should do this because, you know, not because we want you to, but because it's something that you can go through life knowing that you accomplished. So. Right.
So in high school, I've told a story where you got in a fight. You know, you've always been quiet throughout school your whole life. You've never been really outgoing. Would you consider yourself a popular girl in school or no?
No, not at all.
Not popular at all. Well,
No.
I remember getting a phone call from Mom, right? Saying your daughter's been in a fight and she's suspended. And this was this your freshman or sophomore year?
I was a sophomore.
Or sophomore.
Yeah.
And I asked your mom, I said, who did Kenzie beat up? Thinking it was your younger sister, Kenzie.
Yeah.
And your mom said, no, Hannah's been in a fight. I fell out of my seat. And she said, they're suspending her. I said, suspending her? So I was like, okay. So I remember running out of the building, and I remember your grandfather coming up and walking by and saying, hey, where you going? I said, I'm going, you know, my daughter's been in a fight. And he said, who did Kenzie beat up? And I said, no, It was Hannah. Right. So your mom he's like, what? So I get in the car and your mom's telling me that you're getting suspended, that you got in a fight with some older girl that was a senior or junior, and all these things were going on, and that the superintendent and or the principal were being completely ridiculous about it. So I walked in. Tell me what happened.
Like what? How did the fight happen, or like what happened when you walked in?
What happened when I walked in? Well, I'll say what happened when I walked in, and then I'll let you explain the fight. So I walked in yelling at the principal, saying, "I'm going to have your job. I'm calling the Board of Education. I'm calling the school board. This is ridiculous. My daughter doesn't get in fights. You can't suspend her. She probably got pushed around and bullied." And he said, "Mr. Waller, I need you to watch the film." I watched the film. Tell me what I saw.
It was a bad camera angle for sure. It didn't justify anything, but it did kind of, from the angle that it was set at, look like I jumped her. But in my defense, I was like a 95-pound little girl. Like like wet. Like I couldn't jump somebody. Like,
Right.
but apparently I did. Apparently that's why I got suspended. So
Well, what I saw on the tape was a girl walking by, and you were sitting with your boyfriend at the time, and she was 3 of you, and she threw a thing of water. Wasn't she a junior or senior?
she was a junior, yeah.
And she threw a thing of water on you, and then you put her in a headlock and just started uppercutting her.
Yeah.
Is that about accurate?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she literally, like, I just got to school. Like, I just got there. And so when mom pulled into the driveway, I remember, like, I was like shaking because I was so scared, because I was like, is my mom going to be mad? Like, am I going to get in trouble? Like, what just happened? And
Yeah.
I called mom and I was like, hey, like, I think the principal's going to call you. I think I got suspended. I think I'm in trouble. And mom was like, I literally just pulled in the driveway and like turned around and had to come pick me up. She wanted to take everybody's job because she thought that some girl beat me up.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I remember your mom got me fired up, and I told her, I said, this is a lesson for everybody. Don't give me half-ass information. I can't go in there loaded, blasting on a principal and then go, oh, my kid's the one throwing the punches. So I gave you a little high five. You didn't get grounded. You got suspended. You defended yourself. All right, let's move on. So also, and I'm always going to shoot people straight. You said you struggled in school, right? Tell everybody what your math grade was as you graduated high school. I just love sharing this because it's crazy to me.
Yeah, it was a solid 9. It was definitely a 9. And then when my cousin Bryce went to enroll into school and they were having orientation and all of that, they mentioned somebody who had 145 absences and graduated with a 9 in math, and that they're not looking to repeat that. And Bryce raised his hand and said, that's my cousin. I know her.
Oh,
so,
my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, at least you broke the record there for something, right? Most days missed. You also used to work at Power Home Solar, and you won an award there for what?
Perfect attendance.
And your attendance was horrible.
Yeah.
You never really went.
Well, yeah, it was like a roasting thing, but.
Okay, so we have a track record here. We got high school, you're missing a lot of days. Work, you're missing a lot of days. What do you think's going on there? Why are you missing so many days of everything?
I don't know. I struggle really bad with anxiety,
Okay.
as even when I was a kid, I struggle. Anxiety is like really a big thing for me. Like even like flying, I can't fly. Like I can't really do much of anything. Like I really get nervous.
It handcuffs you to finish things or do things because you get nervous?
Yeah. It makes me feel like fight or flight, like I have to do this and I feel a lot of pressure, and then I just give up because I feel like I get too much anxiety. I can't handle it.
I get that. I know your mom has a lot of the same anxiety that you have, right?
Yeah.
So I shared with the audience early on, podcast 2 or 3, and we're in the 80s right now. And I talked about our RV story. You wrote about the story. So I've already given my version of the story. Let's hear your version of this RV story that not only did your teacher question if you really wrote it, but I've had people question me and say, is that legit? And I'm like, yeah, that's legit.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
My English teacher told us to write about what happened this summer. And I mean, we didn't really have a really eventful summer. We had, Christian was only 2 years old.
Weren't you a sophomore or junior at the time?
No, I was in 7th grade.
7th grade. Sorry.
Because I went to Liberty, and so we had like homeschool 2 days. So like we were leaving on like Thursday. Mm-hmm. And I remember like the teacher said, write about your summer. Well, we didn't do anything because, mom was a germ freak and we had a 2-year-old. We couldn't do anything.
Now, listen, mom was a germ freak before being a germ freak was cool, before COVID, right?
Yeah.
Before we had these masks running around everywhere. You see where we got these masks everywhere. Before this came out, mom was a germ freak.
Yeah, Mom was already
Because you're 22.
on
This
board
is
with that.
15 years ago. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So we decided, like, you had like an obsession with like some RV movie where we were going to be this big happy family driving up to Michigan to go see a football game that everybody didn't want to go do, but we had to because the Lions were playing and we had to go. So you rent this like obnoxious, like really expensive bougie RV with a flat screen TV. And so we start packing up. It's like 7 a.m. It's on like a Thursday. It's like 7 a.m. Mom packs all the things. And then we're like, okay, let's hit the road. We start going. The door falls off.
Well, hold on. Time out. We had ants.
No, well, that was after the door. So the guy came to fix the door. Right. He came to fix the door, and then when the door got fixed, we were sitting in there because we were going to leave. Like, you were really determined, we're going to leave after this door's fixed. So, like, nothing else is going to go wrong. But then there was, like, ants, and I'm highly allergic to ants, like hospital visit allergic to ants. So we had to call an exterminator. And so this, like, brought us, like, it was, like, almost lunchtime. Right. By the time like we were getting ready to set sail.
Right.
So we get in, we were like, okay, there's no more ants. Like Mom's like, you should be good. Like, if you see one, just stay away from it, all this stuff. So we go to Walmart, which if people know like kind of where this Walmart is, it's over by a Wendy's.
It's an older Wendy's in Mooresville.
Yeah, in Mooresville. And it's off 150. So
how long were we in Walmart, you think?
Probably like 2 hours because we got like groceries because we didn't want to stop. You said we're not stopping. This is it. We're going. I don't care what anybody has to say. We're leaving.
I was determined. I remember.
So we bought all the things. I mean, like all the things, and we were loading it in. Like we were like sitting there like in this, like synchronized thing, all of the kids, we were just loading it up and Mom was putting it away, like 3 carts full.
Yeah.
And then we're like, all right, let's just go get Wendy's, because we might as well eat before we go, even though we just bought 3 carts of groceries. Let's not even talk about it. Let's just go and buy food again. So we pull up
Us
to
and food.
Wendy's.
Hold on. Our family loves food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a problem. Okay, go ahead.
Well, yeah. So we go up to the Wendy's and I remember like Mom just kept yelling at you. Like, you don't know how to drive this. Like, you're literally going to hit the wall. You're going to hit it. And you were like, no, I'm fine. Like, I'm far away from it. I'm far away from everything. So you thought to go around and you couldn't fit through the drive-through part. So you just kept going. And Mom said, you hit it. And you said, I really didn't. But I mean, I was sitting on that side. I definitely heard a little bit of something, but it was such a bougie, huge RV that like, you didn't know.
Now let me jump in here. Did you walk into Wendy's with me?
No, you went by yourself.
So I'll jump in here to share this part. So I jump out. I'm excited, grinning ear to ear, thinking the RV's great.
Yeah.
I walk in to go get our food. I'm jacked up that we're getting ready to finally hit the road after hours of fixing a door, fixing the AC, which is a part you forgot because the AC had issues, removing the ants, and shopping for 3 hours at Walmart. I'm like, look, we're heading up the hill. I walk into Wendy's.
It's a big hill.
It was a big hill. I walk up to Wendy's. I think London or Kenzie's with me, and I'm jacked up. And they said, hey, is that your rig outside? I'm like, yeah. They're like, great, this is yours. And they hand me all the metal pieces. And I said, what's this? They said, you knocked down our sign. I said, what? So I had to get their insurance information, give them my insurance information, walk out and give it to your mom into the thing, call my cousin and say, we have a problem. I need you to fix this RV when I get to Michigan. And we put all the items inside. Is that about right? Did I miss anything?
I just remember we were like sitting in the RV and like wondering what was taking you so long. And you came out with like one of those big grocery bags of chicken nuggets and like a huge piece of the window.
Yeah.
And you're just like carrying it. And like, we all started dying laughing. Like, Dad broke the freaking RV. We're not even going to go. Like, this is already becoming a nightmare. But you were just like still so determined. You're like, it's fine. They have my insurance information. At this point, I don't care. Let's just go. So we were only like 15 minutes away from our house. We weren't even that far away. So it's pretty sunny out. We start going and we hit 77, and literally it was like a dark cloud came over us and it just started pouring down rain, like just pouring down rain. And we were all so nervous because you don't know how to drive a bus. You just don't. You can barely drive a car.
By the way, I would argue with you on that, but that's fine. It's fine.
No, it's fine, really. Like, okay. I have a lot of other stories that can go ahead and back that up. But anyways, we literally were in this huge bus you've never driven before. And Mom's like sitting there freaking out. You turn on the windshield wipers and there goes yours, literally dangling off the side. Mm-hmm. It's just dangling. And you can't see anything. And Mom's sitting there like trying to instruct you on how. I'm sitting here thinking, we're going to die. This is it. We're going to die. We're on the interstate. Dad can't drive. And Mom's sitting here trying to instruct him on where to go. And like they're just arguing the whole time because neither of them can agree on which is right and left. It was just crazy. Kinsey just kept laughing and videotaping the entire thing. Always laughing and videotaping. So we finally get back into Mooresville, like, you know, where we lived. And
well, no, we turned around. Your mom said, that's a wrap. We're done. We're going home. So we went home and I told them to come get the RV. It was a piece of shit. Remember?
No, but that's not all. We did go home.
We did go home. But your mom said let's book flights for the morning, remember?
No, that's not. You got another RV later that night.
That's right.
And I said, are you really going to try this again with the same company that gave us one that was like broken? That's right. And you're like, yeah, I guess, blah, blah. Like, well, I guess we're just going to have to fly. So this was like Thursday night. So Friday morning, we woke up, we booked a flight to get on an airplane and go to Michigan. Mm-hmm. And Christian, again, was only 2 years old. He was obsessed with Buzz Lightyear, like Toy Story all the way. So Mom kept telling him, like, we're going to fly like Buzz Lightyear. We're going to do infinity and beyond. Like, that's what she kept reminding him. Right. We get to the airport. Mom's already like horrible flyer. Like, she's horrible. She's worse than any of us. And Christian is screaming bloody murder. And we get on the airplane. We all sit down. Christian's still screaming. And then Mom just gets up and like walks off the plane. Yeah, well, hold on. Let's let the listeners and viewers know. We went in and we're sitting first class, right? Yeah. We're sitting in the plane. We booked all these tickets, non-refundable. We're on the plane. We're seat belted in. They're getting ready to close the doors to back out and leave. Yeah, Christian's you're sitting crying. With London. Yep. Mom has Christian. Yep. And me and Mackenzie are sitting together. And I remember when Mom got off the plane, the flight attendant. Go. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. The flight attendant was like, ma'am, you can't get off this plane. And my mom was like, no, I'm getting off this plane. And like grabbed Christian and left. Well, she looked back and said, no, she looked back and said, come on, let's go. I then looked back at you guys and you guys said, or Kinsey said, we're not getting off this plane. Let her go. We're not getting off this plane. Yeah, I said that too. We're like, we're not. Like, we're not doing this again. So we're going back and forth. And about that time, they locked the door. Yeah. So they were like, no. And we're all like this. Mom took the baby bag. Eyes are all big and we're all freaking out, correct? Or no, Mom didn't take the baby bag. She took like your backpack or something. Which had my wallet in it. Yeah. So she had your wallet and we had the diapers. And so when we land, we had to go to the store and go get wipes and we had to get a car seat. And your mom got off and then was upset that we didn't get off, but and disappointed. But I told her, like, I turned around and the girl said, we ain't getting off, and I'm going back and forth. And all of a sudden they locked the door. So we're on a plane. I'm freaking out. I'm like, your mama's going to kick my ass. This is not good. I'm in the doghouse. I ain't never getting out of this one, right? Oh, she was. And you guys are laughing like it's hilarious. And we landed. She's still at the airport. And she gets on a flight later, which was a whole nother shitstorm that we don't even need to talk about.
And we go to get a rental car. I don't have my ID because your mom's got my wallet in the backpack. So I have to call and get a picture. Like, it's crazy. Finally get the rental car. Remember we circled the airport like for 2 hours?
Yeah, like literally for like 2 hours. And Mom had like a problem at the airport to get on that flight because Christian was still screaming. Mm-hmm. And I remember the flight attendant was like, she told us, he said, you can't get on this flight if that baby's still crying. You need to put that baby down. And Mom said, if I put him down, he's going to run. And he said, well, if he's still crying whenever we get ready to take off, I'm going to escort you off the flight. And I remember like my mom like got on the flight and like was holding him and he actually fell asleep. And what's crazy is the flight attendant still checked. Like, I just can't believe that. Like, I wouldn't even fly. Like, if a flight attendant said that to me.
Long story short, I mean, we did that trip. You wrote about that. Your teacher questioned that because then we get there. We have fun as a family in Michigan and we end up flying home. And that's that. I mean, we wasted a lot of money on an RV that we didn't get to use. Insurance had to pay to fix it. Wasted all that time and money at Walmart because then we left for a few days, didn't get to enjoy the food we bought. Wasted money on the food that we bought at Wendy's we didn't get to eat. And then, we had a crazy shitstorm of a trip. But that's not the only time that we've had a shitstorm situation like that. So another story that I think I would like you to share is your poop story.
Wait, which one though?
But let me explain to the listeners and viewers here. First of all, you're 22 years old. You have a beautiful 16-month-old daughter, which is my granddaughter.
She's 18 months.
18 months, give or take.
No,
I'm trying to save her age here. So Lily, a.k.a. Pootie, she's got her own personality. And you're pregnant again.
Yep.
We're going to find out soon if it's a boy or girl, right?
Yeah.
And you're engaged to a very sweet man, Alex, right? Who's a great father and it's good to you, right?
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Life is good. You're getting ready to open up a business with Mom here soon, which you aspire to do, and you guys are going to run the show at a Lash Lounge in Charlotte area. And so things are on the up and up, right? You didn't go to college. School was not your gig. And
I did go. I went for one day. I did go to college.
Well, I know we paid for some classes that you never went, so I don't know. I'm still looking for a refund.
They gave you that.
I need a refund. Before we get into the poop story, though,
okay,
there is a funny story that just happened on Halloween. This past Halloween. I'd love you to share that story. And just so you know, Hannah, I mean, I talk about you all the time on the podcast. I know you don't listen to all of them, but and now that you have a kid, you know what this is like. First of all, kids are a pain in the ass, but you love them. They're stressful because you want them to have the best life they can, but you also are trying to, work with them and guide them and try to teach them the right way. But you also want them to have thick skin. I always share how we pretty much spoiled you. We didn't allow you to fall a lot of times on your face. You were a great kid till you hit 17, and then you ran wild as shit, and we couldn't keep up with you. You come home drunk, all these things and problems that would have, right? It was a problem. Is there something you've never told your mom or me that you've hid from us? There's got to be something that you did not tell us that you can come clean right now on the podcast. What is it? I'm going to give you a pass. Only this time, because you're an adult now. There's not much I can do.
Yeah. No, I really feel like literally I felt like I always have to confess my sins to Mom, Like every time I would do literally anything, I'd be like, Mom, I have to tell you it's going to eat me alive. And she'd always be like, wait, is it going to give me diarrhea? every single time. I'd be like, Mom, just let me tell you really fast. She's like my hope.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there's probably nothing there then. Yeah. Cause I know you did. Sometimes I'd be like, Hannah, why'd you tell your mom that? Like, what are you doing? Some things you just don't need to share with your parents. So, but let's get into the Halloween thing. Let's talk about that. Tell me what happened. Your version. I love this story.
All right. I just it was my birthday party, Halloween party type deal that we were having in Michigan.
This is during COVID. Hashtag, we don't like the governor. Hashtag, we still had a party. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I remember like, Alex and Lily already left because, she gets really cranky about 7:30. So he took her home and like let her go to bed, but we haven't cut my birthday cake yet, so I stayed. So I sat inside and like hung out with grandma, which your mom, and your dad, and we were like sitting by the fire because Michigan's so cold. And I remember like all these little kids, like all of little like 13-year-old, like London's friends kept coming in, and like Christian's friends, and they kept like opening and closing the drawers in the kitchen. And I was like, hi, you don't live here. You need to leave. Where's your father? Like, where's your mom? And grandma like kept laughing at me, and she was like, are you bored? Like, are you bored? Like, do you need something to do? And I was like, yeah, where's Mackenzie?
By the way, she does talk to people kind of like they're dumb, right?
Yeah, she does. She really like, are you okay? Like, yeah.
Are you sure?
So
are you sure? Positive? Like, I have the same problem. So
yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, she's funny. But and she was green, by the way, for Halloween. That's her color. She was literally the color green.
Talk about that real quick. She told you, talk about that.
Yeah, she came up and she's like, oh, my Bear. That's what she calls me. She calls me Bear. She's like, I have the best costume. Me and Papa, we came up with this. It's so good. It's so original. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And we went to Target, and she said, I need to get green pants. And I'm like, oh, are you going to be like the Grinch? Like, I was like, wow, like, I'm trying to like figure out what she's going to be, because she played it like it was a big deal. It was going to be amazing.
She was faking it till she made it, but go ahead.
Yeah. And then we were at the party, and like she shows up in like all green, like this green hat, like just all green. And then Papa just was wearing just normal clothes, but he had duct tape on his shirt that said Envy on it. She comes over to me and she's like, look, I'm green and I'm with Envy. I'm green with Envy. And I go, oh my God.
I thought she was a leprechaun. Yeah.
I thought she was the Riddler because she had like the mask on and like the hat. Like, I don't know. I was just like, oh my God.
So she goes, Bear, are you bored?
Yeah, she goes, are you bored? And I said, yeah, like, have you seen Kinsey? Where did Kinsey go?
Now, Kinsey's your 16-year-old sister, right?
Yeah. And, Kinsey parties harder than me sometimes. Okay?
Hold on.
For sure. Sure.
Hold on. She does what?
Yeah, I mean, we all know that Kinsey has partied before. Okay, she's even partied before I've ever partied.
Yeah,
so here we go.
Kinsey's had her run-ins with alcohol here and there. She says it's all on accident, but I ain't buying it.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
It's on accident.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I was sitting there and I was like, "Where is Mackenzie at? Like, did she leave? Because I knew she had a party, but I didn't know she left. She didn't say bye to anybody."
Where was your mom? Where was I? I was over there talking to who? White boy.
You were literally doing you.
What
and
do
Mom
I do?
was doing her.
Hold on. What is it I do?
You just talk a lot. There's just a lot of talking. Like every time, where's Dad? He's over there. He's talking to somebody. I don't know. He's just talking to someone.
Am I socializing?
And Mom was over there dancing in this big blow up baby costume, like literally breakdancing.
A baby with a diaper costume.
Yeah, she was
kind of creepy.
She was a baby with a diaper,
and she was dancing.
She was just.
I'm like,
does anyone know where Kinsey is? Like, is anyone even concerned at this point? No one cared.
We allowed her to go to her friend's party.
Yeah.
What's the deal? Her friend came to her party, and her friend's party was 2 blocks away. We gave her permission. She's a junior in high school.
Yeah, okay.
Driver's license. We said, go to the party. You're not allowed to drink. Come back.
Yeah, no, I was a junior before. So anyways, I see her location on my phone. She's right down the street. And we all have, trackers on each other. So I turn off my location services because I don't want her to know that I'm going to show up. Because I'm like, I'm going to go see what she's doing. I bet you she's drinking. She's probably partying hard. I got to go. I tell Grandma, I'm like, get in the car. And like, she's like, oh my gosh. So
and you told your mom, because I found out third party and was like disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did your mom say? Hell yeah, go spy on her, right?
She was like, I mean, if you have like a feeling, you should follow that feeling. And so I was like, all right, So I went and followed my feeling.
Your mom's
so
funny,
I put
okay?
on.
Your mom doesn't trust anything or anybody, by the way.
No,
Okay.
she doesn't trust anybody.
Okay, go ahead.
So I put on like this like ratchet, like short bob cut wig. And I put on like these really ugly glasses, and I put on like a disposable mask, and I had like a Grim Reaper robe or something. And then the only shoes I could find that weren't mine were Alex's slippers. I'm like, this is me. This is where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go like this.
So you and Grandma drive to the party.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm scary looking though. Like I'm scary.
I
and remember, this is a high school party, right? So like these teenage girls are like,
and you're like 4 or 5 years removed from high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I show up and I'm like I think Kenzie's friends.
This is like 21 Jump Street type shit, by the way. But go ahead.
Yeah, I know. It's my favorite movie. So I literally show up and like the guy's like, does Zoe know you're here? And that's Kenzie's friend. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, what's your name? I'm like, Melissa Frances. Like, I came up with it. Totally came up with it all by myself. I don't even know where it came from. I don't even know who has that name. But that was it. That was
sorry, Melissa, if you're out there. We apologize. Go ahead.
Yeah. So they like invite me to go down to this basement, and like it's like a frat house.
Where's Grandma at the time?
I told Grandma to lay low in the car.
Okay.
And she was my getaway.
She can't pass as a damn high school student, okay?
No, she tried.
You're all
really
5 foot, right? So you could pass as one.
Well, she's 4'9", but still,
okay.
You know, Kenzie would have known. It would have blown my cover if Grandma went, right? Because we're short, and like in Michigan, for some reason, all the girls are like really tall. Like I'm always like this to Kenzie's friends. I'm like, whoa, what kind of milk are you drinking? Like I never got that milk. So I like walk in there. I'm going down this like frat house looking thing.
They had that Canadian milk. You had that redneck milk. It's a little different. Go ahead.
All right. All right. So then I go down there, and Kenzie's at the bottom of the stairs. I'm like, crap, she's going to see me. So I literally immediately go in a sharp right. And I can't see because I'm fogging up my glasses trying to breathe out of this stupid mask. And like, I'm like looking for her, trying to see if she's drinking. Like, what does she have in her hand? And some little like girl comes up to me and she's like, hey, and it's loud. Like you can't hear anything. And she's like, what's your name? Like, who are you? And I'm like, Melissa Frances. Like, I'm like, and she's like, oh my God, you're in my Spanish class. And I'm like, yeah, girl, yes. Yeah. Oh my God. Like, I didn't know her name. I was just like, yeah, whatever. Like, please go. Like, and so she's like still there, like in my face. I'm like, by the way, we're still in a pandemic. And she's in my face and she's like, so what's your costume? Like, what are you? And, you know, all these girls in here, they're like 16. They're in like, you know, like one pieces, like devil costumes, like really like lingerie looking stuff. And I'm over here like dressed like the Grim Reaper. And I'm like, I'm COVID. And like, I'm like laughing at myself. Like, I'm like, you guys are so, I don't even know what to say. But if I'm anything else, Kenzie would know. And Kenzie's over there, like, you know, texting with her friends. Like, she's dancing. This girl's still in my face. And she's like, okay, she asked me 4 times, what am I? Like, what my costume is. And I'm like, COVID. It's not hard. It's like, we've heard about this thing all year. And then literally, like, this other little girl comes up. She's like, oh my God, what's your costume? And the girl that literally I have told about 4 times says, she's the devil. And I'm like, wow, you're fucking stupid.
Oh,
I just like, I just walk away. I'm like, at this point, like, I can't with this girl. Like, I know we're in the same Spanish class, but still.
But
so I walk over to try to see what Kenzie's doing. So like, you know, I like always like, there's just these big people everywhere. Like, I feel like I'm like a really short person. I can't maneuver my way around these people. But I see like, there's like beer pong going on and like, they're really bad at it. And then like the music gets louder. I'm trying to figure out where Kenzie's at. So I have to like clean my glass. I can't see anything. So then the girl follows me back up there. She comes right back around and comes up to me again and goes, come on, Melissa, dance. You're the life of the party. And I was like, okay.
You felt
okay. Like,
you were having a good time?
yeah. I mean, I was having a great time. Like I'm pregnant with my second baby. Like at this point, I'm sitting here like we're both partying.
My goodness.
We're sitting there. I'm going like this, and my tattoo comes. You can see it.
So that you didn't get to do a lot of the partying in high school.
No, I mean I did it after high school, right?
So now you're living your best life, even though you're pregnant. You're a mom. You're there pretending to be in high school, partying with high school kids, making friends.
I was making at least 4 to 5 friends that night. I had this big beefy dude who should have he probably was on the football team because I mean he was just this big old like big man and was just like rubbing up all on me like dancing on me and I'm like, bro, I'm pregnant. Like you gotta get like you gotta 6 feet, man. What like and he was like, what? And I was like, never mind, dude. Like I was like, bye. I like walked the other way, Kinsey was like in this little like group of friends. So I was like kind of just making my way around it so she wouldn't know it was me. But when I was dancing and my tattoo came out, the girl like came up to me who was like following me around and was like, I love your tattoo. And I was like, oh crap. And like Kinsey, I saw was like videotaping the party. And so I started dancing and Kinsey was videotaping me. She was making fun of me at the party. She didn't know it was me.
So hold on. She's making fun of Melissa Frances. Doesn't know it's her. Saying, look at this weird girl on Snapchat when she's sharing her story, correct?
Yeah, no, she Snapchatted it to me and said, dude, look at this freak at this party I'm at. Oh, my gosh. But that was me. So anyways.
You making friends, right?
Yeah, I was making friends. And I go up to her and like I just, I like bump into her because I'm trying to see what she's doing. And she sees my slippers and she grabs me by my arm. Like she just like, Kinsey's taller than me, right? Kinsey manhandles me. She's kind of mean. And she manhandles me to the corner and says, why are you here? And I'm like, because Mom told me to come check on you. So I'm here to check on you. And I'm also making friends. So I would appreciate it if you let me enjoy my company. God. Like I'm having a good time. And she's like, you need to leave right now. Everyone thinks you're an undercover cop. You need to get out of here. And I'm like, how? How do they think I'm an undercover cop? She's like, well, first of all, no one dances like that. Secondly, secondly, you're like 5 foot and you're shorter than everyone else here.
Oh my God.
And you have a tattoo and people think that you're like an undercover cop and you're going to like bust us or something. And I'm like, oh, okay. So like, obviously I didn't make any friends that night.
But then you asked her to you wanted to smell her breath before you left, make sure she wasn't drinking.
Before I left, I was like, all right, Pinky, swear you're not drinking. And then I made her let me smell her breath. And then like after I left, everybody was like, oh my God, who was that? How do you know her? Blah, 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 blah. So then me and grandma kind of, staked out the party a little bit longer and, try to see what else was going to happen, but it was nothing interesting. So we left, we went home and then Kinsey came home and she was pissed. Great story though. Yeah.
But she was pissed. And I told you it's wrong to do that. However, that's a great story. I mean, that's funny. Melissa Frances was living her best life, by the way. And Hannah Waller was taking a time out and a break. So listeners out there need to know that sometimes it's okay to do something out of the ordinary to enjoy yourself. You did enjoy yourself, correct?
Yeah, I did. And then when I told Alex, he's like, this is why I don't let you out of the house.
That's great. Well, listen, I want to talk about the poop story I keep bringing up. The one with your friend. Tell that story at the mall. And then I've got a couple other questions. So go ahead.
All right. Well,
and by the way, so the listeners and viewers know, I wanted to do this family talk so people can relate to how crazy our life is and how it's not just me making up shit on the podcast. Like some crazy shit happens. And I think all families are a little crazy. Ours is next level. There's some crazy characters in our home. Next level, weird shit. Okay. And so I wanted to bring you on to share some of these stories so they can hear it from the horse's mouth of kind of some of the stuff that happens and be relatable because I talk about you all the time. So go ahead and tell the poop story. You met this new friend and you were going to the mall. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I met this new friend. She has kids the same age as mine, and she was going to come up to Michigan with us for the Labor Day party. So she said, "Oh, let's go get some cute clothes for Martin, which is her husband, and for Alex." And I said, "Okay, yeah, that sounds cool. Let's go to South Park, which is about 30 minutes away."
Okay.
And she just got this new car. She just got a new Chevy something, and it's like a Suburban. And so it was me in the passenger seat, and Lily was behind me. And then Penelope was beside her, which is Melody's daughter, same age as Lily. And then her son Silas was behind her, and she was driving. So we stopped for McDonald's, and I don't have a gallbladder. So we stopped for McDonald's, and I get chicken nuggets, which I always get chicken nuggets, and I get sweet tea, and that's normal. It's what I always get. And we start driving, and then we hear Lily, and she's blowing it up. I mean, her diaper is probably gonna like come out of the seams. Like it's bad. And
so you can hear
then
her
my
pooping?
stomach started.
You can hear her pooping?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can hear her all the time, but this one was pretty rancid. The whole car started to smell really bad. She just was like pushing, her face was red, it was bad. And we were like almost there. My stomach was hurting. And
you don't have a gallbladder.
Where I was like,
I can relate. You don't have a gallbladder.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm getting ready for my period. That's what I kept telling her. I was like, my stomach hurts just so bad. I think that's what it is. I didn't want to tell her the truth, that she might need to pull over. But I thought, we're only about 5 minutes away. I can make it. I'm just going to run in there really fast and just go to the bathroom. I'll be fine. And we get to the parking lot. There's like a parking garage thing that's right in front of Nordstrom. So we park.
Yep.
And I get out of the car, and I thought she was going to go in with me. But she's like, "Hey, I'm going to pee really fast. I have to pee." And that should have been my excuse, but it's fine. She's like, "I'm going to go pee really quick. And can you just sit with them? And while you sit with them, just change Lily so we can go ahead and go in." Like that. Yeah, I can make this. Okay. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, just breathe. You got this. Change Lily's butt. We're going to go in. We got this. Like, it's not a big deal. Don't let what happened last time do this again. Okay. Because this is like my second time. So I have like this like romper on, and like it went down my legs. So it's just this really cute romper. And I'm like standing there, and I pick up Lily, and she gets poop all over my side. There's just poop.
Because poop came out of her diaper. It's poop everywhere.
There's just everywhere.
There's
her
shit
whole car
everywhere.
seat.
Okay.
Her car seat was just ruined, and it was like bad. And I'm sitting there trying to grab wipes. So I'm like standing like at an angle like this.
Right.
And it got to a point where it just happened. It just literally,
what just happened? Explain what happened.
I literally crapped my pants. It came out of my pants leg. My left pants leg, it just fell out. It literally, it was scotch free. There was nothing that it didn't even touch anything. It just right out of my pants leg, straight out.
Now, unfortunately, I've had the ability to see the picture that you sent your mom of you pooping.
Yeah.
And it looked like a big man took a shit without a toilet. Yeah.
Honestly, like since we had a farm in our backyard growing up in Moss Creek, it looked like a cow's poop.
I would say it was very close to that. It was just a big pile right there.
It was like
and you're saying it slid out of your leg. And sorry, listeners and viewers. You might be grossed out, but the shit literally slid out of your leg, didn't even go on your leg, landed, made a nice pretty pile on the concrete sidewalk in the parking garage.
Yeah.
And you shit yourself, but it doesn't go on you. It's next to you on the sidewalk. Big pile of shit.
Yeah.
And you're cleaning up Lily. What happens next?
So I'm sitting here thinking, oh my God, she's going to come back and see this huge pile of poop here.
And this is a new friend you just got, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh boy.
I'm like, oh crap, what am I going to say? So I take off Lily's pants. And that was my excuse. Okay, when I took off Lily's pants, the poop fell out.
So she came out and that's
Right.
what you told her?
Yeah, but not yet. She didn't come out yet. I had to call her because I still had to poop. I mean, it was still there. I was still like, oh my gosh, like I still don't feel good. I'm sweating. And like her kids are staring at me, right? Because her kids are still in the car. She went to go pee. And I go, oh my God, I don't know what I'm supposed to do right now. So I call her and I'm like, hey, like, you know, I have to take Lily inside and clean her up. She's just a mess. And she pooped on the concrete. And I just probably need you to come and help me. So she comes back. She gets her kids. I stick Lily in her stroller and I take all the things I need with me. And I'm rushing. Like,
Did she see
like
the
running.
poop yet?
No, she didn't see it yet. Well, no, she was, yeah, she did because she came around and she said, oh my God, that came out of Lily? And I was like, yeah. I was like, honestly, it came out of her pants when I took off her pants. And she said, but her pants don't have anything. I said, that's because it fell out. That's why. I'm going to take her inside though. And I just didn't know what else to do. And so she Snapchatted it to her husband. She goes, oh my God, look what Lily did. And her husband was with Alex. So I'm like, I'm hauling it because I'm like, oh my God, my butt cheeks are sticking together. You're
walking like you ate bad Indian food, right? Like really fast.
I'm walking like a duck because it's like, you know, like you're waddling because my butt cheeks are like glued closed.
Oh, jeez. I'm
calling Alex and I go, Alex, it happened again. I need you to get in the car. Come pick me up. Okay. Our friendship is over. She's not going to be my friend after this. Okay. This is so embarrassing. I said, I blamed it on Lily. And he goes, you pooped your pants again? I said, Alex, you're not paying attention to what you just need to get over here. Okay. I don't care what you have to do. Just come now. So he's on his way and he's like, did you poop in her car? Cause you know, that's a new car. And I go, luckily no, but you have to get here. So I go in the bathroom and selfishly, right, I take off my clothes and I grabbed a romper on the way in and I literally cleaned myself off and then put this romper on and then pulled my stuff together and like put it in the trash. And I was like, it's over. And she came in and she's such a helpful person. Like she's so sweet. She's so kind and all these things. And she said, oh my, don't throw away your clothes. Like, let me wash them for you. I was like, don't touch those clothes. Don't. Just stop. Okay. Just leave it. It's gone. Okay. I'm sitting there like I'm wiping Lily down. Like, so Lily has no clothes either. Her clothes went in the trash too. Nothing survived this. She's just sitting in a diaper. My baby looks like there's just poop everywhere. Lily's sitting there like a little redneck baby with just a diaper on. And so we're like, screw it. We came all this way. Let's just go look around, right? I felt guilty. I said, you know, if I really want this girl to be my friend, I really need to tell her, right? So I kind of let it simmer. And we're like, you know, we get a few things. We start checking out. Her daughter takes off her diaper and like looks at her. And she's butt naked in Nordstrom, and she pees on the floor. And
so you have shitty clothes in the garbage. You have shit on the sidewalk in the parking deck. You have smelly bathrooms, smelly walkthroughs, smelly elevator, and now you got a kid pissing on the floor. Am I right? Did I hit it right? Nordstrom, we're sorry. Yeah. Keep going.
I'm so sorry. And so she's like, oh my God. So she like picks up her kid and like puts a diaper on, like you can't be naked in Nordstrom. And we start leaving and we're in the elevator to go back up to the parking garage. And I'm like, Melanie, I gotta tell you something. In the parking lot, that was me. I shit my pants. And she looked at me and she was like, you're serious? And I was like, unfortunately, yeah, I'm so serious. Like, it's a heart attack. And she's like, what? Like, she was just so like, stunned. And yeah. And then she was like, it's okay. I've pooped myself before. And I go, oh, well, I guess we are going to be friends then. All right.
And you got,
so, you know, I mean, I could have been I could have been like, hey, Alex, like cancel, like you don't need to come now. But I had to buy a new car seat because Lily like destroyed hers. But actually later on that day, Melanie went back for the car seat that Lily pooped in and washed it for me. So she's a pretty good friend. Yeah, she's a keeper.
Anybody's tolerating your poop. Woo! All right, so
yeah, I know.
All right, so you've shared some funny stories. I appreciate that. I want to back to a few more serious questions, and then we'll wrap up, Hannah. So, listen, let's talk about. You talked about anxiety. Let's talk about overcoming something. What is something you're most proud of yourself that you've accomplished or that you've done?
Probably being a mom.
I think that's a great one.
That's kind of a big deal. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot. It was a lot of anxiety at first.
Was it scary?
Yes. Because, mom never had a C-section and I only knew like a handful of people who did. And so, that was really scary for me because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know who to ask for help. And, I was also in a different state. I was unfamiliar. That was really scary. Luckily, my doctor let my mom and Alex in the room when I had Lily. So that was really
What about the thought of becoming a parent? I know you struggled being an adult. And I don't mean that to be mean. Yeah. I mean, like, you're a great kid. You got a great heart. You got a heart of gold. You mean well. You're motivated. You're smart. But you don't adult well. Right? Responsibility is not your gig. Anxiety kicks in. You've been nervous and scared to be responsible sometimes. And here you are going to bring a life into this world. What was that like? Thinking that you have to be a mom now?
It was like a lot. It was like a rush. Mm-hmm. I definitely had a lot of postpartum after I had Lily because, I thought, oh my God, I'm only 20 years old. And, my friends are decorating their dorm rooms and I'm having a baby. Mm-hmm. So that was a lot of anxiety for me because I was like, I'm never going to be able to do anything again.
Let's talk to the listener. Let me jump in. I'm going to be interacting with you here. So your mom had you at 17.
Yeah.
I was 18. And, the listeners know most of the story. Me and your mom played house for 2 years where you stayed with me for a few days a week and then stayed with your mom. And then we'd move in together and then that didn't work. And then we would move out. And eventually we got married, right? You were kind of that glue, kind of that motivation. And so I remember what it's like being a kid, and so does your mom. Having a kid and going, uh-oh, right? We remember those feelings.
Yeah.
And it's the last thing you really want your kids to go through is that fear. It's not about being a parent because it's the best thing you can be. And I think you would agree with that. It's what we live for. But the feeling and the fear that comes with that, the urgency, like you just said, it was flooding in and it was like, became real. We as parents, we don't show our kids how to be parents. We didn't teach you how to be a parent. I mean, you helped change diapers with your little sisters and brothers or brother, and you've helped watch them and babysit. So you knew how to take care of kids, but you didn't know how to be a mom, right? It's something that most parents don't get to teach their kid. What was that like, knowing, oh gosh, I just brought this beautiful being in this world and now I have to be responsible for it? What did that feel like?
It was emotional. I read a lot of books because I didn't know.
Hold on. I ain't never read a book. You read books?
I didn't read them. I had audiobooks. Okay. Everyone needs to calm down. But still, I listened to a lot of books, and because I didn't know what do you do when they don't take this certain pacifier, and what if they hate breast milk or they don't like formula? Like, it was just so many questions, and like mom definitely was helpful during those times, but there were some things that mom just couldn't help me with. It was my baby. I had to learn her. I had to, get to know her. And so like, that was probably the biggest struggle, is like, you learn that like they're their own person and you are the only person who knows what that other person needs in that time. Like, like they just want their mom.
Yeah.
you know?
Well, let me say this. So One of my regrets are bailing you out of everything you've ever had, problems you've had, to where you've struggled. Like if it's tough, you will quit, or I need help. You need a lifeline all the time. When you had Lily, we were there for you. Your mom was there for you, but we have yet to keep Lily overnight one time. So let me finish. I will say, for where we lacked of teaching you responsibility to kind of providing on your own and do your own thing. And I'm encouraging other parents out there, other future parents out there, other kids out there, people listening, viewers, that they don't give us a book or an audio book that tells us how to parent. Like, this is the first time I have a 22-year-old. It was the first time I had a 21-year-old. It's the first time I became a grandfather, or GILF, or whatever you want to call it. Right. So yeah, don't roll your eyes. So, but the end of the day, when I go back and I go, man, I wish I'd have been able to show her to budget money, or, hold her accountable to work this job, or hold her accountable to be more responsible for her homework so she didn't get a 9, whatever it is, right? Where we didn't do that, you still turned out great. Here's the best part. We were kind of tough when you had Lily. We were there. We love her. We love her. We want to see her all the time, help you out with her. But you and Alex did it on your own. And that's something I think that you need to be proud of, because not one time did Lily have to stay at somebody else's house. You two figured that out on your own. So what I'm saying is sometimes God, or there's a plan for everything, and it's never perfect and it's never the same for anybody. But in your situation, where maybe you didn't have the tools taught to you by lessons and experiences that you needed to go through on the other aspect of life, of having a career, going to college, whatever you were talking about your friends wanting to do. But as a mother, which is the best thing you can be in the world. Everybody can say everything they want, whether you own a business, you're president of the United States, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, whatever the F you are, doesn't matter. When you're a parent, that supersedes everything. And when you raise your kids, that's the hardest job on the planet over anything. We all know that. And people don't know that. They need to know. But you and Alex stepped up and did this on your own. Like, that's something I'm so proud of. I know your mom's proud of. I look at that and I go, I was shocked. I was proud and shocked and hopeful that, hey, maybe we weren't so bad. Look how good of a mom she is, and how he's a good dad. Like, you guys figured that out. What was that like?
It was really hard. I mean, I did not sleep. That was probably the hardest thing, was like, people tell you like, oh, enjoy your sleep while you can. Like, no, I mean, they don't understand, like, really enjoy your sleep while you can, because you don't sleep. Like, and, that was probably like the hardest part, but Alex was great. Like, we had a certain thing like going for us, and it was helpful that we were able to stay at your guys' house the first few months of her life, so just in case we needed
and not
help.
One time did you bring her in our room and say, you guys did on your, you don't even ask us to babysit much to go out. You guys have literally became super parents. It's pretty good. Yeah. Alex
would take her. He would have like the night shift, and he would stay up with her because, we didn't know that, she would still breathe all night. I kept like checking on her and checking on her and checking on her. And so he would stay up with her all night, make sure she was good, and, and do the feedings. And then I'd wake up in the morning and I had her during the day. So it really helped. It helped a lot because he let me sleep. I think like the recovery was crazy with the C-section, and you just had surgery, you just had a baby, like you feel horrible, you have no sleep. Like, he really helped me like be better because I needed like at least an hour.
He's a good dad. He's a good fiance. I think he'll be a great husband for you. I'm proud of Alex too. So let me jump into one or two more quick things. Your plan in life, isn't altered because you had a baby, and you're getting ready to have your second child. So, I know we can't wait to find out the sex. And as long as it's a healthy baby, we don't care. But if we have a boy, it's maybe a little better right now because we already got a baby girl. But, whatever. We're good. We're good. So you still have aspirations to run your own company and doing your own gig. You've always wanted to be in the spa business. You've talked to me about, hey, I'd like to do hair, or I'd like to, go do massages. And now you're getting this opportunity with your mom here sooner than later to get into a franchise and open up a business. And, shout out to Katie Prater. She did it first, and you guys kind of saw and were inspired and said, wow, something I can get behind, and want to do that in another location. How exciting is that for you to not only be a mom, but not be handcuffed? A lot of moms are told you're having a kid early, you can't do anything in life. And I am not telling people to not tell your kids that have kids early. I'm trying to say, when things happen, when there's a plan, you get up every single day and you pick whether you go right or you go left, whether you're going to think that there's a positive approach or you're going to think there's a negative approach. You're either going to take it as it's half glass full and I'm ready to kick some ass, or I'm going to take it as half glass empty and my life is over and this sucks. I will say that you have taken this entire process, Hannah, of getting pregnant the first time, having your daughter, and getting pregnant again as a positive approach, and still motivated to do you. What advice would you give young moms, or even older moms out there that are scared that maybe now they're pregnant or they want to have a baby and they're scared that they can't better themselves? What advice would you give them?
Get your baby on a schedule. That's so important. I'm able to still have a life because Lily's on a schedule. Like, when she takes a nap, I can clean the house. I can do the dishes. I can, if, she's taking a nap, I could tell Nana or Alex or something, like, to just come by and just sit with her, and I can go get my hair done, or I could go get my nails done. Like, she's on a really good schedule. And, I think that that's a really big thing. And I thought I was never going to be anything after I had Lily, because that was my postpartum, was like, this is it for me. Like, I'm just going to be a mom. And I didn't like that feeling. Like, I love being a mom, but I wanted to be able to be something where, like, when Lily grows up, she says, oh, my mom is this, not, oh, my mom doesn't do anything. Like, I wanted that. I wanted something. I wake up every day and I get to go and enjoy my life still, because I'm still young.
Right.
So
you're 22 years young, girl. You got the whole world in front of you. Are you excited to do this with your mom?
I am really excited. Yeah.
It's going to be fun. I
fun.
think I'm proud of you guys. I think it's going to be great. I think you guys are going to do big things, and I think you'll have fun doing it. And that's what's most important. And so Lily should be proud, and I know Alex is proud, and we're proud. So any final comments? You want to ask me a question or two while you've got me on here? You get a chance to put me on the spot or not. It's up to you.
I don't know. Why don't you tell everybody your poop story?
That's kind of cold.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can speed this one up. So me and your mom went to go look at a house, because your mom likes to buy houses. I mean, fuck, we can't buy enough fucking houses. Your mom still wants a house. We buy a house tomorrow, she'll want another house next week. You agree? Yeah, she got a house problem.
Yeah.
So we were looking at houses, needless to say, and I don't have a gallbladder either. And I'm like, oh, I got to go. I got to poop. Can I use the bathroom here? And the agent, who was your mom's friend, and your mom said, no. And I said, no, I got to go. They said, no, you don't need to use it here. And Liz goes, which is your mom, we live like 10 minutes away. Just drive home. Oh, okay. So I get in the car, and I know what you're talking about, clenching your butt cheeks together. I'm driving in the car, leaned up like this. Oh God. And my ass is above my seat as I'm holding the steering wheel, and I'm squeezing my arms. I mean, I think I was getting triceps. I was squeezing so hard and trying to steer. And I saw Porta John. They were doing a little construction over there in Brawley. And I was like, do I go over there? And no, I'm not going to shit in a Porta John. I got to go home. So I turned and I get home, and I could feel the sweat coming down my forehead as I'm squeezing the steering wheel and clenching my butt cheeks together. And for those, I apologize. Okay. But listen. I get there, and I'm like, I got this. Kind of like you did, Hannah. And I open the door, and I'm running. And we have our nanny that's there at the time, and you're there, and I think the other two kids are there. And I'm running by, and I'm in slacks because I was at work, and a nice dress shirt. And I'm running by, and as I go into my master, because it's in the main level, master bedroom, into the master bathroom, I go, oh, shit. And I couldn't make it. and it went all down my leg. Difference was it was all in my pants. It didn't hit the floor like yours did. And then I asked you to get me some garbage bags. You brought.
No, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I had like a mask on and gloves and a bunch of trash bags and wipes.
Yeah, that was a bad day for me.
And I remember Autumn goes, "That's your deal." I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
I'm not. I was like,
good old Autumn. So that's my poop story. That happened probably 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
That was in like the Bayberry house. So.
We've had so many homes. So how's the weather in North Carolina right now?
It's pretty sunny and it's pretty beautiful outside.
Don't tell your mom that. It's nice and gray and cold here. So keep that on the DL.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to go to Cali where it's like 75 and sunny. All right. Well, Hannah, listen, I'm glad you were the first episode on Family Talk. This is going to be a new thing I try to do either once a month or once every other month, kind of relate to somebody in my family, catch up, hear some of their stories, and still get some tidbits out there to motivate you. Hannah, thank you for coming on the episode. Make sure you check us out at Spotify, iHeart, Apple, Google, CastBox, and YouTube. Check us out, True Underdog. Bam! And that concludes another episode here on True Underdog. If you're interested in hearing more, make sure you subscribe at iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the YouTube channel. You can always visit TrueUnderdog.com, subscribe to all of them. Make sure you check out our newest episodes coming out on Mondays and Thursdays. True Underdog, baby. Bam!